Everybody, how you doing on this lovely Tuesday? All right. So, I'd like to always start it off with a, do you care about your self-care? Yes. You know, we had like a never discovered weekend. You know, I'm talking about that Monday. I just like to make a little joke about things that was never done. But we're gonna talk about that on another self-care moment of historical truth, which does cater to our self-care. And I'm only saying that because that episode is on its way, along with a little spin-off twist of letters. But we'll get into that on a later date or another podcast episode. And I already shot it. Do you care about your self-care? And we're just going to continue on because that's where we're going to take off from there. Because we're talking about community engagement today. Can y'all say community engagement? Community engagement. Oh, man, y'all sound like y'all need to get engaged with the community. No, I'm playing with y'all. Now, for those that don't know what community engagement is the things in which you as a member of your society and contribute back to your town. Rather, it's looking out for somebody next door, just make sure nobody mail gets stolen or children get spoken to a certain way by individuals on the block, from the block, not from the block, or police officers approaching your children in such a manner that is inappropriate or just downright unlawful. And I say those things because those are the things that we as a community need to speak on. Other than just that, we also need to cater to those that aren't able to be functional individuals within the community, catering to their mental health, their financial displacement, and in ways that can actually help them a lot better. But we have a quote today from Coretta Scott King. The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate action of its members. And like what I was saying earlier, all of those things are things that we see in our rural areas. Rather, it is on a high scale financial area or low scale urbanized area. You have people that are without in ways rather it's physical or psychological. And we have, as community members, these are things that we need to cater to. I don't need to know all your business, but I need to know that, can I help you? Do you need help? Is there something that you can help me with? And where can we both part ways and be able to say that, hey, it was worth the while? Or that we both can say there was something tangible out of this because I wasn't afraid to be open, exposed to the help. Because some men and women are afraid to actually say that, I need help. And there's nothing wrong, regardless of the age. But we're going to jump into the first question for the audience. Then I'll answer. For the audience, in what ways can you contribute to your community this week? Not next week, this week. For the community. Anybody? What are ways that you can contribute to your community this week?
I say, well, we haven't done it in a while. But we usually set up a table and hand out clothes and food. And I can't do it this weekend. You know, I had the time and get rid of some more clothes. But that's something I usually do in front of the house.
Have a clothes drive. Oh, yeah, We have one almost every week.
Yeah, but we haven't been doing it lately, so. You just put that thought in my head. I might do one this weekend.
Okay, well, and we should look to at least support in some kind of way. You know, if you got some not so run down shoes or pants or shirts to contribute and help, I know I do. So I'll contribute. Thank you. Anyone else? Ways that we can contribute back to our community this week. Anyone? Yes.
Ways that we contribute here at Tier 1, as a matter of fact, Monday we're partaking in the recovery walk, which is absolutely participating in the community and trying to help promote addiction, and the struggle with addiction is very real.
Yes.
And here at Tier 1, we're absolutely trying to give people some hope and absolutely, plug them in with the resources and love that a lot of us, myself included, being in recovery, lacked, for a great part of my life. I just want to go back to something you said too, Easy. It's not easy to ask for help,
No.
right? And then, as a man growing up in Paterson, it's definitely not, we're bred different, and it took me, and it's crazy that you said that, because it took me till I was 46 to admit that I do need help. I need other men to show me how to be a man. I was under a false thing. So I learned that through community. Tier 1 absolutely help plug me into that, and we're just trying to support others that are in the.
Yes. Thank you. Will there be one more? Anyone? Okay. Well, like Mike said, hope. I was hoping for somebody to say hope. Well, you can give a person hope, encouragement. You can give them prayer. You can give them a hug. Because some people probably haven't been hugged in so long as much as they probably haven't had a shower. And I know that sounds like, what you mean? Yeah, some people will break down just because you hug them and they smell like what they smell like. And that can change them. Like Michelle said, clothes drive, just giving them shoes, giving them I might not have needed that $200 pair of shoes. But just like I said earlier about the history opening of we were celebrating a day that non-existent discovery. It's with that being said and brought back, just look at the value of the things that we complain about and the things that we say that are of great value. So $200 broke on the street. Don't go together. I'm just gonna say it like it is. Don't go together. But that's not to derive too much away from what we're talking about, community engagement. We need people that are in the community that are financially established and understand the value of how money works so that the community can understand how to grow its own money. Self-worth for a community is very important, not just as, we're all America, but you're a state that has its own governing laws. You don't fully follow all laws for America, because I can't do what I do in New Jersey and do it in New York. And you can't do what you do in New York and do it in PA. It's the same way with communities. I can't do this on this side of town if this isn't permitted on this side of town. Like up the hill, downhill. But you have to take away the discrepancy of the ignorance, the bigotry that creates all of that, and then you'll start to see the beauty in being in the community, the beauty in being raised in the community, the beauty in a structured, spiritually based, humanitarian community. We're gonna go to the second question because I'm not trying to be a leader at this moment, but I'm gonna lead y'all through this. For our second question, how can listening be a tool for building strong relationships? Yes. How can listening be a tool building strong relationships, especially in the community? We got one right there.
That's the only way you're going to have proper dialogue. You have to listen to the person in order to understand that person, and not just speaking to that person, but also and not just listening, but also hearing where the person is coming from.
Yes. Anyone else? Anyone else on the topic of culture? Relationships.
Yeah, I think listening is the main tool for building stronger relationships, because we have to internally hear what somebody else is saying in order to be, or at least attempt to be, compatible with them. What I'm trying to get, the point I'm trying to get to is like hearing where somebody is at and meeting them where they're at. You know what I'm saying? Instead of opposed to just hearing what they're saying and like well, and of course the ability, because you mentioned it, having that enough gusto with you to show a person that you hear what they're saying and meet them where they at.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I find myself babbling, trying to get my point across, but it's like no matter how much I say, like I'm not talking about nobody in here. This is like within family or whatever. Because of my unfortunate dark past reality, it kind of prevents the new wine and the new skin. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, he just talking that old nonsense again, instead of actually hearing or even seeing the different that I'm trying to bring to the table. You know, so with listening, we're going that step further. You know, and even sometimes if we disagree, sometimes you might have to agree to disagree. You know, but as long as like the humble understanding is the forefront, I think that's the majority of listening, you know? Like, yeah, going that step further with what somebody is saying.
Now, this connects with what Jasper is saying as far as listening. I think that you can listen, but you have to be able to understand and comprehend. And sometimes you may be talking to somebody and expecting them to listen to you, but they don't have the level of comprehension to understand what you are saying.
Yes.
So there might be a disconnect or, you know, miscommunication, even though you may be speaking plainly, but they don't understand, or they're listening to you, but they don't hear exactly what you're saying because they're hearing it from their level of education, trauma, experience, environment, whatever. And so you have to be careful of who you're talking to, because not everybody can comprehend what you were saying. So I think that's a very important thing when you're just listening and speaking.
Thank you for that, clear. Although, like you said, Jasper cleared up with what he was saying. I understood what he was saying, and along with the dynamics of the fractured upbringing. Some people do grow up in that environment in the community where some people don't see that they're suffering. People see that the parents are there, but you don't know what's there, what's actually happened behind those closed walls when they go in the house. Because some of us was bred up, what happens in the house stays in the house. And sometimes that's a good thing, but sometimes that's a bad thing. You know, you have to be able to know what to talk about and what not to talk about, as far as those discrepancies in and out of your home. Because even the community can be a place of tyranny. Because the village can make a villain, just like they can make a hero. Your neglect to somebody's indifference of understanding, because this is the whole point of community. I can't look at the fact that you're different We're both born different. I not you and you not I. So let's take each other's hands and fly. Because that's all that we need to do. Everything else, that's when we part hands, after we pray, that's on you. Because I'm here for the prayer. I'm here for the connection. I'm here for the foundation. The individual works is your individual works. As long as we coming together for the Creator and the community, we got unity. So with our last question, I was trying to sum this one up myself because it says, who in your neighborhood or circle could use accurately measured by the compassionate? That question is really choppy. Who in your neighborhood or circle could use accurately measured by the compassion? I think I don't know why I printed out this way, but I think it's saying who in your neighborhood could accurately measure a person with compassion, or your surrounding, your neighborhood. I'm gonna be honest. For me, what I'm getting from this last question is my elders. I would say my grandmother. My grandmother had an eye of discernment when she saw a person or gave an ear to a situation. She maybe not always the best with me, but I believe that what may not have seemed like it was the best for me was really the best for me, because I might have been looking at what I wanted for me versus what was appropriate by showing love and understanding to what happened. Like, I could have been annoying to my sister, and because she hit me and it hurt, and I didn't do anything to physically cause her to hurt me, but I did something that made her lash out. And so grandma's taking her side and not my side. And I didn't see it as, well, I was just trying to have fun. But your intention of fun wasn't fun for that person. It caused them pain. It caused them some kind of trauma in some shape, form, or fashion. So I would say for me, a person that was accurately able to see and measure what was around me with compassion, my grandmother.
And I'm sorry to cut you off, but that right there is the key word, grandma.
Grandma?
We don't have them grandmas we had back in the days.
Oh, really?
The grandmas that we had back in the days kept everything right.
Yeah.
The neighbors, the street, the community, the hood, however you want to call it. Them grandmas kept everything in check. But, you know, as we all know, we got a 380 right here. You can't touch your own child. You touch your child, you're going to jail. And today, a teacher could touch your child. And you can't.
Now, it used to be both,
And that's
right?
okay from the president.
It used to be both, right? Mama?
Generation the gap became closer also, because growing up coming from someone that was born in the 60s, the generation, as we got into the 80s, the generation gap closed, so we had more teenagers having babies. You know, more unwed mothers and parents having babies. Back then, the generation gap was between 25 and 30 years. The generation gap, the age got closer, where it was only 20 years, 18 years, 15 years. So that's why there's the difference in between the parenting style and when she referred to the grandmothers of that time.
Wouldn't that mean that that's around the same time that America had persecuted its own citizens by enforcing the fathers out of the house? Around that same time?
I know during that time we were more conservative during my generation period. So I mean that could have contributed to it, but I think that came before us pushing fathers out of the house. That came around the early 60s into the 70s, but also this country was more conservative. No, was less conservative at that time. So at that time, anything goes. Now, and in this generation, this government is more conservative. So a lot of things that would seem appropriate at that time is not considered appropriate anymore.
And those are the things that we need. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I don't disagree. I do not disagree. I just feel like grandma shouldn't be alone. You know, just like how they say us to men, don't leave your woman alone. You know, don't let her stay in her home. In a sense of love and compassion, right? And even hearing that, grandma looked out for all the children. Grandpa worked, you know, but grandpa looked out for everyone else in his own unique way, because our roles as male and female are different, and they're different for a reason. And that's why we have to love it and respect it, because without it, the other won't continue to be strong. Rather, you are on your own, you're strong. But when you have someone that also is strong, and y'all strong together, you're stronger. And I feel that grandma was very strong. She just needed a man that was just equally strong to stand by her side, to fight that oppression that forced what we're living and existing in now. And it's sad that it was out of fear that people chose not to. And I don't hold that against them, because that time of that fear has passed. And I'm saying this as a person of the community. We need to break that stigmatic fear of me saying, just hear me out, because I'm only going to speak upon things that I know that don't work and things that I know that don't really contribute to the community. Although education is very important, I'm going to say that first. Education is very important. But the indoctrination in which the school systems that are today from then are not. So I don't believe nobody should put their children in any school in America unless it is a community-based school teaching the community economics of growth in farming, economics in finances, economics in community relations, economics in growth as a whole, regardless to the dynamics of the racial background. Those are the most important things, important keys of a successful community, as well as math. I'm not going to leave that out as well, math and science. Now, everything else that is within the curriculums of the school are just really just side gamble things, but they make as a primary importance for 10 years to sit in the same place, learning the same thing repetitively, and it has shown it doesn't work at all. Because if it worked, we would not be in the situation that we're in. But I'm not going to penalize those individuals, because we can make our own decisions and move forward. Power to Huey P. Newton. And now,
I was for a young man, I like your history, because I was going to say that thinking is radical thinking that was being taught by the Black Panthers at that time in the late 60s, early 70s, and that was considered tyranny to people who don't believe in that thinking. Mm-hmm. But it's true what you're saying. We need that type of schooling, but it starts at home first. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate your radical thinking.
And I appreciate the footnotes before me ever existing to continue that thinking and grow off of that thinking, because that thinking was beaten and battered in front of people on national TV, but told that it was to protect people. But who was being protected? Who was being mutilated and torn left and right in the streets, hosed down, all because of freedom of speech? My mouth caused my death, and many others, all because I said, ouch. Pretty soon, no one's gonna say ouch. Pretty soon, something's gonna happen. Not wishing it on no one, but something's gonna happen. And it's not gonna be good on the oppressor. And there's nothing that they can do about it. So do you care about your self-care? Yeah!